G'day guys, and welcome to our gear guide for our Lake Lenthall Barra trip. This trip we were up fishing Lake Lenthall, quite obviously, in kayaks with David Brace and also Paul Chew. Great trip up at Lake Lenthall. It's only 20 minutes north of Maryborough, very easy to get to, but we caught some cracking fish. So Dazza, start off, run us through the gear you used.
Right, well when we were barra fishing I was using a bait caster. This is actually a Daiwa Farrugo with 20-pound braid and about 25-pound leader, as well as a 1.3 Concept C bait caster with 30-pound and 40-pound leader. Those are my reels of choice for the barra. Teed up with a couple of G Loomis rods, one a bit of a barra rod of mine, a 5'6", fairly sturdy 665, and the other one of their newer, slightly lighter rods. Now for my lure selection, we were fishing early morning. There was some topwater barra around, or the barra hitting topwater lures, so I fished pretty much until sun up, or just after sun up, with this Bagley Rattling Mullet, and in the size 11, and I did redo the hooks on these. I put some BBK extra strong hooks on them, but that is a sensational topwater lure. It's got a good rattle, and I caught my best barra of the trip, and well, actually all my barra on that best one, and I love them. They are seriously good service.
Easy to use.
Really easy to use, and yeah, really good lure. In terms of bass, I had a Stratic. I was switching. I think I did a 2,500 Stratic with about 15-pound braid, because there was a lot of structure we were fishing for the bass, and I was dropping most of my bass I think came on a Jackal TN60 in the purple color. I got a couple on the green as well, but we absolutely cleaned up on these. Well, I did on these Jackals with the bass once we found them schooling up. So I used a selection of other stuff, but you know, 90% of my fish come from the barra on the top water there, and the bass on the TN60 Jackals. So
for me, similar sort of setup. I used the Concept C 1.3 reel. I ran 30-pound braid with a 50-pound leader. I used the Bagley Rattling Finger Mullet size 11. I used a blue version, and it was deadly. I caught a couple of barra on the top water, plus all the hits that we had. Like I just thought this was an outstanding surface lure, really easy to use, brilliant, loved it. Can't wait actually to try it up the top end on a trip coming up soon. Not only that, but for the bass, again similar, I used the TN60s. I got a good bycatch, good yellow belly on one of those, got the bass. We're finding him schooling up, which Big Red, maybe you'll talk about the deeper pro. Sound, I think it would have been impossible for us to do what we did with the bass without that sounder system. That was just brilliant. I did try a few of the TT spinnerbaits as well. They were good. I didn't get a lot of fish on them because they tended to be pulling them up through the schools. I think I got one or two, but most of mine were also on the Jackal. Rods, I teed my Concept C up with a 1.3 Envy and found that fantastic. For the bass, I was using a little Shimano Stratic 1000, also on a 1.3 rod, 6'6" I think, or something, 6'1", one of those, and found that really good. It fought well with the bass. There was a bit of structure down deep, and if you got onto them, you did have to really put a bit of weight on the rod, and I found it handled it no worries. I know Bracey, who's not here with us right now, but he lost a good big bass, and he had heavy gear, so you did need that strength to really rip them out if they grabbed you in the timber. But I was really happy with all that gear.
Yeah, I guess same reel as Dazza and Keza, 1.3 Concept C, and matched to a 1.3 Envy. Just my go-to barra rig now, and I guess for bigger bass. I also had a second rod with a Stratic and a 1.3 Fate, I think it was. It's quite cool because you could troll two rods. I was doing that a fair bit, trolling through the schools of bass, so really good rod setup. For me, I just caught the one barra, and I caught that again on a 3-inch Zman Diesel Minnow in sexy mullets, rigged on a TT Snake Locks jig head with a little jig spin, and I was just pretty much just ripping that through the weed. It was only about 1 metre deep where I caught that fish, and again, it's like a little weed guard that's spinning around, creating vibration, and the barra chomped that, you know, in 1 metre of water, and that was an awesome catch. I also threw around the Rattling Mullet for a while, and again, you know, I'm not the greatest fisherman in the world, but even doing that walk the dog style with these, simple, cast great, simple to use. My other couple of lures I used, again, these are little Illusion lures, great little handmade Aussie lure. I was trolling these and they dived to about 3 metres, and I'm pretty sure I caught a bass on one of these or one like it. And for those deep schooled bass when we weren't trolling, I'm pretty sure I had a purple jackal. And again, mate, what can you say about these things? You drop them in a school of bass and it's just like, thank you, I'll take that. So I caught 3 or 4 on these. And so that was awesome. And again, we've talked about these before, these 2 great pieces of kit. The Deeper Pro Sounder, you know, we had these rigged to our kayaks via an arm that you can get from Deeper. They sat on the side of the kayaks. I had my iPhone in front of me, and especially with that school bass, because, you know, Bracey was paddling around and then we might have been a bit separated, but you could just paddle, and although maybe not as detailed as like a hummingbird or something, you could just see schools of fish, so you knew they were there. So a really great little unit that you can actually map out the floor of the lakes and everything.
Yeah, I would have to say, to hit up a lake or a dam without a sounding unit, you really limit your chances. Yeah. And that is so simple, just ties on. Yeah. We hadn't really done the schooling up fish, looking for them, putting, you know,
well, you'll pick up
changes the game. It totally changes the game.
In those dams, you'll pick up the odd fish trolling.
Yeah.
You know, like, but you know, if you're in those basins and you can identify the school, yeah, you'll catch a dozen fish to one. You know, because you know you're just trolling this main basin. But you once you find the school and you manage to sit on around it, you're dropping down vibes into schools of big schools of bass. You're going to catch fish.
And we did. We worked weed banks. We worked snags. We're throwing heaps of lures and putting them in the right spot, but that's not where the fish were holding. And as soon as we located these schools, which are just sitting in the middle of nowhere, we're on to fish. So that's a game changer.
And the last bit of kit that was just absolutely vital, again, is these little contour cameras. So easy to use. Have them right here, capture all the action. They're actually waterproof to 10 metres. And they come, when we're on the yaks, you know, you have a little cord so they're attached to you. But again, contour cameras make you capture the action, easy, simple, great piece of kit. So again, we're on Kayak, so if you want to check out some of our other episodes, there's a bit of review on the kayaks we use as well, great piece of kit. And that's it for our gear guide for the Lake Lenthall trip. Thanks guys.